Goosebumps has returned in another belated month. Shit's been real fucking busy.
I don't even think it's going to calm down that much.
No.
I think that's just our lives now.
Yeah. And I'm currently, my house is being sold and it's raining. So the set's a little hectic, but we're here and we're here to talk about Goosebumps once more.
Yep. It was a month. It's an interesting month, actually. There's a bit to talk about.
I have a bit to talk about one of these.
Yeah, one of these is a lot to talk about. The other, there's like nothing. So it's one of those months, which it's actually on like the more positive ends that months can be compared to like a month where both books there's nothing to say.
Yes. And it's the ones you weren't expecting. We did a little switchy switch.
We did. So if you know what the two books are, you know pretty much what we're talking about. So we got A Shocker on Shock Street.
And Haunted Mask 2.
So we thought that Shocker on Shock Street was going to be one to talk about because it's one that I read when I was a kid and I remember liking it. You've read this one more recently than I have, right?
Yes, and I read that one as a kid too.
Yeah. And then there's Haunted Mask 2.
Yes.
And we were kind of like, oh, there's no way that Haunted Mask 2 is going to be good. There's no way we're going to...
I read that one as a kid and not the first one. And I remember
my God.
I remember it being a little stupid. I was like, really? Old man?
Yeah. Crazy. Time makes all the difference.
Yeah, doesn't it?
So, obviously, we got a lot to talk about from Haunted Mask 2 and nothing to talk about for my book today. Is that a good enough segue? That's
easily, yeah. Easily the most disappointing book we've read so far.
I reckon, and that's because of us adding the context to it. But like, what are we going to do about that?
It's a fun title and it's a fun cover.
It's a really good setup as well.
Yeah.
The premise is like perfect for a Goosebumps book, and then we proceed to do nothing with it.
The ending is something. I'll take it.
Yeah. I would have been happy if the ending was brought in sooner.
Yeah.
And then we would have had something to do.
Well, we can get to that.
We will. So, allow me to give you the laydown, and I'm really good at this. So we've got Erin and her best friend Marty. They
might as well be sister and younger brother because it's the exact same dynamic.
Yeah, it's the same thing we've always had. You know what? It feels exactly like Terror Tower.
Yeah.
It's that exactly. So, the opening chapter, while they're running away from monsters on Shocker Street, and the monster jumps out and then Erin screams, and then the next chapter is like, they're watching a movie, and Erin's in a cinema.
Which is like the most bullshit cliffhanger.
I'll fucking take it though. I was like, that's stupid. Yes.
How do you describe watching a movie like that?
Fuck it, let's go. I was like, that is so stupid. I will allow it. And then everybody in the cinema is like, you gotta calm down. It's not even that scary. And then Marty's like, haha, Erin, you scream. She's like, shut up, Marty. And then they go home, and you find out that Erin's father is an inventor, and he's been commissioned to work on the Shocker on Shock Street amusement park ride.
Should we talk about the Shock Street movies for a second?
Sure. They're basically, from what I can gather from reading it, they're basically A Nightmare on Elm Street as an anthology series where there's like different monsters in different movies and maybe they're recurring or... What were some of the monsters? There was...
The Toxic Man, something like that.
There was the frog one.
The Toadinator.
Yeah. And there's all random, horrible... But it kind of sounds like fun. I'll take an anthology horror thing.
It feels very B-movie, something that Stein would grow up with, not something that 90s kids would be watching.
Well, R.L. Stein projecting his own childhood. Never. So the father's been hired to make
I'll have you know, he
park.
talks about the Mutants comics.
He does, actually. He can't talk about his shitty old comics.
Yeah.
So he goes, what are the kids reading these days? Cable. Done. So yeah, that's like, I'm doing some fucking amusement ride thing. But good news, kids. I want you to test it out and let me know if it's scary or not. I need you to take this ride before anybody else does and tell me if it's too scary, if it's not scary, where it gets boring. I want you to go in and have fun and tell me all about it.
Now, guys, it's real scary, so watch out.
You gotta be careful, guys. And then the kids are like, wow, I love the Shock Street movies. Thanks, Dad.
It's like my uncle works at Nintendo.
It's literally... Well, we've got another inventor.
Yeah.
But it's not an uncle this time. It's their literal father.
Yeah.
They're not siblings.
Stay out of the basement.
Yes. Well, it feels like the first time since that. So they go to the fucking studio lot, whatever, where the fucking ride is, and they've got I forget what it's called, the lady, like the attendant lady that, like,
The manager?
okay guys, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times.
Akani.
She's in it for like one chapter.
Yeah.
And she gives them these two laser guns. And it's like, oh, if anything goes wrong, you've got the laser gun for protection. It's like, that's fucking stupid, lady. Anyway. And then she stays. She doesn't go on the ride with them, and the kids go in on their own. They're in like this tram car with no seatbelts or anything. And the dad's like, you gotta stay in the car at all times. You cannot leave the car. You stay on the ride, you stay in the car. And the kids are like, okay, Dad. And they immediately get out of it. They're on the ride for a little bit, and then the tram stops. And then Marty's like, well, it's stopped, so it's broken, so we gotta get out of it. And then they're walking around. There was some monster shit. Nothing happens in this book. And then I think we go for the praying mantises, which were on the cover. Even the original has the praying mantis on the cover. This is almost one-to-one, the original
I think
cover.
it shows up in the movie they're watching.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So there's a praying mantis at some back room part that they're in. And then they're like, wow, is that a real monster or is it a robot? And then there's like 4 of them or something. And then they're like spitting out this black goo at them. And then they pull out the laser gun and they try doing something. And maybe it does something, maybe it doesn't. I can't remember. It doesn't even matter.
A lot of it's just like, that animatronic felt too real.
Yeah.
That felt too scary.
It's literally that for about 15 chapters until you get to the end of the book. So we're at the end of the book now. And the dad comes out, and Erin's like, Dad, that was crazy. What was that? I want to see Mum. That was so weird. That was scary. And then the dad pulls out a device and he turns the kids offline because they were robots designed to test the whole thing. And the dad goes, that was really weird. I programmed Erin to think of me as the father, but I never put any programming in about a mother. The end.
And they did set up that thing earlier. It's like, where is Mom?
Dad goes, don't worry about Mom. And that's kind of the whole book. I really only skipped over parts where they're like, wow, this is just like Shocker on Shock Street number 6, where you go to the graveyard and the Crypt Man has the Skeleton Bros.
That'd be cool if I knew what any of the things they were talking about were.
No. Well, because they're all fake movies as well.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is just like that one great scene. Yeah. I don't know. My interesting thing, and this is my one note. So when I was a kid, I don't know how, because I know I never read it, but thinking about it, I knew that the kids were robots. So I must have read the last chapter, because I do that with Goosebumps sometimes, just for a fucking laugh. I just be like, how's the fucking end? That's weird, and then I go back to reading it. So in my head, I must have thought you found out that they were kids much, much earlier.
They were robots.
Kids, they were robots much, much earlier.
Plot twist, the robots were kids all along.
Let's go. I thought that was like a middle of the book kind of twist.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's pretty fucking cool to have that twist that early. I want to see how the rest of it goes. And you don't. So when I was reading it, and I didn't get to that twist like halfway through, I started gaslighting myself. And I was like, oh, I must have just made that up. I must have just like imagined it. And then the last chapter comes around and I go, motherfucker!
So that came back to bite you in the ass, didn't it?
And that was the most interesting part of this book, was me gaslighting myself into thinking that I was crazy, and then reading it and getting kicked in the ass. And so that was the best part of the book. Something that I added on my own because I'm stupid.
Alright, I'll tell you about the one note I had. Can you pass over the book?
Oh, this will be good.
So my second note was, this book is kind of shit. I only had one other note, and it was a 9/11 joke. Let's find out what the 9/11 joke was. So it's at the end of their little trip. They approach a castle, and this is the way they describe the castle. A castle bathed in swirling spotlights, all grey and silver. Twin towers reached up to the sky. I thought that was funny. That's all I got.
Just the words, Twin Towers.
Yes. And that's all I really have to say about Shocker on Shock Street. It's really...
There's nothing to say.
It is a perfectly average Goosebumps book, and unfortunately, average is not good enough.
No. Well, at least it wasn't one of the bad books where we go, man, this book fucking sucks.
There's nothing atrocious in this book. There really just isn't anything going on.
But then that makes it so that it doesn't stand out at all. We're never going to think about this book again. We're never going to bring it up.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. We've read it. We spoke about it for 5 minutes and we're done.
And we'll talk about the TV adaptation now.
Yeah, I reckon. How long's that recording?
10.5 minutes.
Just keep going. Fuck me, 10.5 minutes.
That's the quickest we've ever talked about a book.
Oh, fuck. So the TV adaptation was a one-parter.
Yeah.
So they trimmed all of the nothing out of the book, which was nice. And then they actually added to the ending as well. And
that was wonderful.
And they improved it, yeah.
Yes.
So it's the adaptation, it's the kind of adaptation where it doesn't, it just adapted the book, but then it added its own little spice at the very end. So it was good. So what did they, was there any, there were no changes?
They cut out the
start.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, they cut out the movie jump scare.
The opening is just them exploring, like, the practical effects storage room.
The dad's got the remote control thing. And
they, like, get grabbed by a werewolf farm. Yeah.
Which is good because, you know, it ties in the animatronic and the robot stuff.
We really didn't have anything to say. Like, you can go back and watch our reactions. We're never talking about what we're watching.
No. Until the very end.
Yeah.
I tried to make it as real as possible. You see all the monsters from the Shocker movies. The tram will even take you down Shock Street.
Oh, this is the best.
Have you ever done a studio tour?
Not a tour, but I've been to Warner Bros. Movie World.
Does that count?
No,
I
actually.
don't think it does.
No, not at all.
That's just like a theme park.
That's a theme park. It's not a studio. Yeah. It's because that one's like so full of movie shit.
Yeah, that's true. It was funny. I did 2 overseas trips. I've never been overseas afterwards. It was December in New Zealand and January I went to the States. So in New Zealand I went to Hobbiton and we did a tour bus with Peter Jackson doing a video. Then we went to Universal Studios and there was a tour for the 2000 King Kong movie. And you won't believe who played on the bus.
Let's go. I like that King Kong movie.
I don't think I've watched it in full.
I need to rewatch it. It's been fucking years. I like the game a lot. The game's kind of fucking top tier.
We should definitely play that.
It's actually a fucking super good game. And like, unlike anything else, it's fucking cool. You know what's a good episode if we're fucking talking about King Kong?
Whoa! Just like the movies. How'd they do that? Hey, let's see what else there is. Let's try the next.
Yeah, look for the exit door.
I just need like a 10-minute scene of them trying doors. Remember that scene in Shazam 2?
Oh. I try not to think about Shazam 2. Remember when he was being a fucking dickhead? That actor? He was getting really mad about the strikes.
Yeah.
Fucking Arrow guy as well.
Stephen Amell?
Yeah, the guy who played Arrow in the shows. Yeah, so he was at a convention and he was speaking candidly about the fucking strike, saying he doesn't agree with it. Blows up online, everybody's talking about it and dunking on him. And then he says, oh my god, I wish that remained private. I wish that wasn't spread around and it was just between people who heard it. You were at a fucking convention, had a microphone, you were speaking, there were cameras on you. Oh no, the robot's breaking. I mean, the kid.
Security breach flashbacks.
Gregory is a robot.
Actually, that would make sense.
That's been a popular theory since like the day the game came out.
No, I mean like the high voltage thing. Him being a robot, it wouldn't affect him.
Oh right, are you talking about that?
Yeah.
Not Five Nights at Freddy's.
I wanted to go back to the
My
thing
bad.
we're watching.
Oh, you'll forgive me for thinking that you weren't doing that. So you get to the end and you get to the part where they take the kids offline and that all happens pretty fine. And then it keeps going. And you're like, why isn't the episode done yet?
Yeah.
So he's back in his lab and he's working on the second version of the kids.
I will call you Aaron too.
Oh, so stupid. And then the old kids in the background reactivate. and they're like not taking like the deactivation shit,
Mm.
and they're like, we're not. Well, how does it even end at that point? But they're just like
Whatever Deus Ex does as its ending.
yeah, they proper just fucking like go. We're not letting you take us offline. We don't like that very much. We're gonna stay alive. It feels like Blade Runner, where the invented dad. He's like, "What do you kids want?" And then Aaron's like, "I want more life, Father."
We don't want to be deactivated. Do we, Marty?
No. We don't like that. We don't like that at all.
Everything wants to live.
Even robots.
She's meant to be a robot.
It's Blade Runner.
The acting's bad on purpose.
Oh God,
Really?
good ending. Kelly Nickerson.
You're not allowed to say that word.
And then they kill him, I guess.
Yeah, there's a jump scare or something. Yeah, it was cool. Just one little extra detail. But
Yeah.
it went a long way.
I like the
Something.
I like the TV adaptations where the book's kind of trash and like, what are you going to do with this? Where can you take it? You're always surprised. Even with like My Harry's Adventure, I dropped to the floor when I found out that the dog in My Harry's Adventure is the dog in the opening. That fucked me up.
That's not even something with like the episode itself.
No.
It's just the TV show.
And like Revenge of the Law Gnomes last month, that was...
Oh, fucking
Mwah.
hell.
But yeah, that's really all we got to say about that TV adaptation because it was just that one thing.
It was alright though.
Yeah.
It
It's competently done.
It's
and
definitely better than the book.
Yeah.
I would not recommend reading the book, but you can watch the episode and have a fun time.
Yeah, the effects are pretty cheesy, but that comes with the territory.
It works. They're animatronics, so
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
Fucking Five Nights at Freddy's bullshit.
Yeah.
Fucking. I guess that is Shocker on Shock Street done.
Yeah, speed running this
That is
video.
the quickest. It's like, now we're going to talk about Haunted Mask 2 for like an hour. It's going to take a while.
Let go! Let go! Let go! Let go!
Oh god. He's just so silly goofy.
Too many colours.
All two of them.
That's what I said. Too many colours.
Oh, actually there's 3 colours, I lied.
Actually, there's 3.
Take it away, Hadley.
Haunted Mask 2. I was not excited for this one. Haunted Mask is at the top of our list. It does not top Haunted Mask 1. However, this book's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but it does some really interesting things where I don't think we've quite had a sequel book like this where you have something like Night of Living Dummy 2 or Return of the Mummy where it's the exact same book again. With the Monster Blood sequels, it's like it completely just breaks every rule that there is and it does something wildly different and it doesn't feel right. This finds a nice middle ground where it is rehashing a lot of the same stuff, but it introduces enough new elements. I'm happy to call it its own book. And the continuity this book has with 1, very strong. Stein clearly did his homework. He reread the book that he wrote, and he had a plan for Haunted Mask 2, and he executed it. This one is not as scary. It's a bit silly, but I kind of liked that. I kind of liked that it wasn't just Haunted Mask again.
Similarly to the way you're talking about it, I think that has to be the most perfect sequel he has done
Yeah.
because an inspired choice for the protagonist.
Yes.
I was thinking the whole time I was reading, I was like, what a fucking inspired choice.
Yeah.
The man did not take the easy way. He found an interesting new way to do this story.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit similar to the first one. But like, yeah, again, it's like it's a new mask, it's a new Halloween, you got a new protagonist. And you see like the character development that Carly Beth has had.
Yes.
It's really fucking good. I
Yeah.
could not believe. I was expecting like okay,
Yeah.
like okay, and then we do all the masks again.
Yeah.
Whatever, but it's one of the masks, so I like it.
Yeah.
This is like, wait, it is a proper fucking good sequel.
I love the characters in Haunted Mask 1, so I was very happy seeing them again. And we'll get into what Haunted Mask 2 is. So the first thing you'll notice is that the protagonist of Haunted Mask 2 is Steve, the bully from Haunted Mask 1. So his whole...
So good.
it's so we don't really get protagonists like this where they're kind of assholes. The only other thing I can think of is the guy from Go Eat Worms, and we hate that book.
Yes.
It works well in this one. They definitely tone him down because he kind of needs to be the butt of the joke in this one. So his whole thing is that he played a prank on the girls at school. So he's been forced to coach for the first graders soccer team. And the first graders are just the worst. They are just the worst. They're these little brats and they kick him and they're just no fun and Steve hates it. And this Halloween, he's like, I'm going to get back at these kids. I'm going to scare them. That's what Steve does.
There's so many chapters that are just like him convincing everybody that the kids are the worst, and they're like, oh, they're just kids. And he goes, no, they're fucking monsters. I'm going to get them.
I get it, Steve. I relate to that very deeply. His friend Chuck is just kind of there. He's just like, yeah, whatever, man. All right. You hate the first graders. Then he runs into Carly Beth, who's like getting ready for Halloween. And like Steve tries to pull a prank on her, but she's not scared because after the events of Horror Mask 1, she no longer gets scared. And that's a really good development for that character. And so Steve is like, Carly Beth, you had a really scary mask last Halloween. Where'd you get it? It's like, I ain't telling you. No, please do not get another one of those masks. Please don't. And then she's carrying the plaster of Paris head that her mother made for her last year. So he grabs it off of her and he starts playing keep away with her and just like, fine, it's at the party store on whatever street. You go down there, please, I'm begging you. I swear to God, do not get a mask from there. It's a bad idea. Do not do it. So he goes to the party store with Chuck. And he notices the place I've forgotten the word, closed down.
It's like abandoned.
Yeah, basically abandoned. It's like, we don't sell here anymore. It looks like a dump. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get a spooky mask. Wait, there's a basement entrance. So he goes down.
Don't forget that Chuck's with him.
Yeah. So he goes to the party store with Chuck. Is it important?
Yes. The cliffhanger.
Yeah. What is the cliffhanger?
The very end of the book.
Oh, right, yeah. Steve, so they go down to the basement and they start looking and they find the masks. There's this one that Steve attracts to on here. The cover's done really well to recreate it. They basically describe word for word what is on this picture.
That's exactly...
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And then the guy from the first one comes down and Chuck runs away. And the guy's like, we are closed down. You need to fuck off. You are trespassing. And he's like, no, but I really need a spooky mask to spook some first graders. Please let me have this mask. And he's like, no, they're special masks. They're not for sale. You need to fuck off. And then he steals the mask and runs away, which is interesting because Carly Beth buys the mask in the first one. Mm-hmm. And in the TV adaptation, she does buy it, but forcefully. She just throws money at him and then runs away. Steve doesn't do either of those things. He just steals the masks. So he goes home and he tries it on. He's like, this is real fucking scary. It's a spooky old man. I really like that the first one's kind of like a goblin-y sort of monster. This one's just like an old dude. Yeah. Old man.
Mac and Dennis, old man. Old man, Mac and Dennis.
It's a small detail, but it's one that I kind of like. He didn't know which mask he grabbed in the darkness, so when he gets home and he looks at it, he's like, oh man, I grabbed the old man. Oh well, whatever.
Yeah. He had a hobo costume ready for him, which is like the duck costume for the first one. He's like, I don't want to wear no stinking hobo costume.
So stupid that it's a fucking hobo costume.
And like the hobo costume pairs up well with the old man mask. And he basically tells the first graders before Halloween, hey, we're going over to old man Wicker's house where all those ghosts are and we're going to go trick-or-treating.
Be haunted? Oh, you're not fucking scared, are you?
Yeah.
Fucking first grader.
And of course, he puts the mask on and he can't take it off. And so he discovers that he's now an old man. He walks around. He's a real slow. He's got arthritis.
Feels tired all the time.
He talks like this. And his mum knocks on the door. It's like, hey, I went out of town. I got your favorite black and white cookies. I went out of my way for it, you special boy. He's like, I can't go right now, Mommy. I'm really sick.
Yeah, that's actually like my favorite part of the book. He's like, I can't have the cookies right now, Mum. And she's like, I had to drive to the next town over to get these cookies and you don't want any. And he's like, good night, Mum. And the mum was like so sad.
It's so good. So then he goes out Halloween trick-or-treating and like he tries to scare the first graders. Their reaction isn't to be scared like, old man, do you need help crossing the road?
He's like, we'll hold your hand. Where are you going, mister?
It's just like, oh, come on, god damn it. And he calls up Carly Beth. He's like, Carly Beth took the mask off last time. She has to know. And she gets the dad answering. And he's like, hey, who is this? I'm looking for Carly Beth. I'm her friend Steve. The secret to my life. No, we made that joke a lot during the TV adaptation reaction. The secret to my life is Carly Beth. And obviously he just hangs up because it's like a prank caller. So he has to go over to her house. And he's like, Carly Beth, tell me how to take off the mask. That voice is going to get annoying.
Yep.
And Carly Beth is like, well, how I took off the mask, it was a symbol of love. The plaster of Paris that my mom made. So you need to find something similar. And Steve was like, oh, the cookies that my mom bought for me.
The cookies will save my life.
Then he gets home, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, your dog Sparky ate the cookies. And he's like, oh, Sparky, that piece of shit, ate my favorite cookies, and now the mask is stuck on my head forever. And Carly Beth is like, wait a minute, you love dog, right? I guess.
Dog love you.
The symbol of love, give that a try. And then he tries to hug the dog and it doesn't work. So they go back to the party store and he discovers there's a second half to the mask. There's a costume that goes with it. And that forces the mask off and it reunites with the costume. And that's how that resolves.
The mask attaches itself to the costume and then just walks out.
Yeah, something weird
leaves.
like that. And then they're walking home, and then Chuck Pierce is like, hey, I went back to that party store. I got this super scary mask. What do you all think? And that's the end of the book. So Haunted Mask 2 retreads a lot of the same stuff, but I do quite like that the masks are so different, where the first one is like evil, it's like symbiote sort of thing. And this one, it just makes you old.
Yeah.
And the solution is to find its second half. It's a little dumb.
The solution makes no sense,
No.
but I really like that it implies that every mask makes you like into itself. It doesn't like...
It gives me like Cabin in the
cool.
Woods vibe, where like when they go to the basement, there's like
I
a
haven't seen
different...
it.
That's right. So basically, so much to explain, but
Yeah,
basically,
don't worry about it.
yeah, there's like each object in the basement would activate a different monster. And like they do an Evil Dead thing where they get the book, but like in the end it just is like a whole monster extravaganza. And a lot of people are like finding all the Easter eggs. Which object matched to which monster? That's the vibe I got from the Haunted Mask 2 masks.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think the old man stuff is funny enough.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is kind of scary to be 8 and also an old man.
It does work for me just because I work in a call center where I help old people and they're just always complaining about like the worst health problems. I'm like, give me 50 years and I'm going to be going through this and I'm going to hate it.
Yeah. That's upsetting. Anyway, I'm going to check my notes. Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got a quote from the book. Carly Beth is a shrimp.
Carly Beth is a shrimp.
I can't remember when that was said, but I'm happy that it was.
Carly Beth is a shrimp.
And then my last one. Have you ever seen the AI Joe Rogan podcast? Maybe?
Yes.
So
I've seen him and Ben Shapiro talk about which Ben 10 show's the best.
Oh, good.
Well, I want to know why you prefer Alien Force over the original.
Okay, fine, if I must. To put it in a way your itty-bitty, smooth, pea-shaped brain can understand. Basically, Alien Force has not only a much more mature tone, but additionally, Kevin 11 has a pretty sweet ride that goes vroom vroom really good.
Have you seen the one where they talk about old?
No.
So it starts with Joe Rogan going, so I went to the beach that makes you old. So I put on the mask that makes you old. That's my joke. That's my hilarious contribution.
I prefer my 9/11 reference.
We can't all be as funny as 9/11 had me.
We can't. We'll never top 9/11. Apparently there's a dream within a dream cliffhanger ending in Haunted Mask 2. I can't be fucked to go looking for it though.
Was there?
Yeah.
I know there was a dream cliffhanger. I don't think there was a dream within a dream.
I think he goes to sleep and then he wakes up even older and then he wakes up and the mask is off.
Oh,
and then
no, you're right. No.
And then he wakes up again and the mask is still on him.
There was one, but it all happens within the same chapter. It's not like 3 chapters like wasting time on a dream within a dream. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I dare say we're probably going to rank that fairly high.
Yeah.
Not stupid high,
No.
but fairly high.
Yeah.
A very fucking worthy sequel.
Mm.
I think R.L. Stine really outdid himself with this one. It's interesting that he pulls out all of his writing chops for 2 books only and then fucking shits out the rest of them.
Seriously?
Pretty much.
Well, we like a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, but like, that was fucking...
Haunted Mask is definitely the best series Stine's got.
Yeah, he had to put effort into thinking of a plot for the Haunted Mask too, whereas I don't think he has quite as much done that for other books. Even Mud Living Dummy is like...
It's the same plot.
I mean, you know...
It's fun.
Yeah.
But it is just like, did you do this? No, it was Slappy, I swear.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's a fucking good book.
Yeah.
TV
I'm
adaptation.
so fucking excited. Let's do it.
TV adaptation is actually more exciting than the book itself.
Yeah.
Which rarely happens.
So, with TV adaptations, you just don't know. Like, Haunted Mask 1 improved the book very slightly. Can lightning strike twice? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Haunted Mask 2 takes the plot of Haunted Mask to the book and is like, nah, fuck that. I'm doing my own thing. And what they did, mwah.
It's so interesting when they take I'd say about half of the book, and they get it all done in part 1, and then they have their own plot.
One Day at Horrorland 2.
It's so fucking good. It's not like One Day at Horrorland 2 where it was like they took the concept of a stupid theme park and went crazy with it.
Yeah.
They made up their own shit.
They got really high concept with it as well.
It's fucking good. I think much like how the costume thing doesn't quite come together right at the very end, the new thing they do doesn't come together quite so well at the very end.
It's better.
It is definitely better than the costume, but it still doesn't hit a perfect note at the end.
No.
But it's so much fun for the whole like 40 minutes you're watching it.
The first thing we have to say is all of the actors come back.
Yes.
I was so happy we got Carly Beth back because she is still absolutely kicking it. And the writers knew that, and they give her so much to do in this. Compared to the book, where she's maybe in like one scene at the start, and then she has like a sort of sub-presence like in the last act.
Yeah.
This is like she's the secondary protagonist, where we're cutting between Steve running around town, terrorizing everyone as an old man, and Carly Beth trying to put everything together, try to come up with a solution to save everyone in the end.
So crazy.
She takes charge. She is the hero of the story. She knows what's going on. She's so assertive. There's like one point where she gets scared, and I get why they did that, but for the rest of it, she's just like, where the fuck is that mask?
Yeah.
You scared me. Maybe Steve's okay.
What a fucking boss. Even just like the way she's looking around the room, like she's in control. Let's go. This kid be acting. Can I tell him the big change?
Yeah, sure.
Her mask comes back.
Yes.
So her mask, she buries it. And Steve's like, where's your mask, Carly Beth? I want to wear that for Halloween. She goes, no, I buried it. You're never getting it. And then the night before Halloween, or like when midnight strikes for Halloween day, the mask comes out of the ground.
The power of Halloween has brought it back.
The power of Halloween brings it back.
I was released by the power of Halloween.
Stupid, but I'll allow it.
We'll allow a little stupid in our Goosebumps.
So the mask flies all the way to the shop, the mask shop, and it attaches itself to the face.
What was he doing before
he was burning all the other masks? So
one detail I really like when you first see him, you can see his face is more disheveled, which ties back into what he said in the TV adaptation of the first book.
Even this face too.
Yeah. He is wearing a mask, and you can see it slowly deteriorating. In this one, he doesn't look like a monster yet, but he definitely doesn't look great.
If he was wearing that mask for like another month or so, it'd be another Unloved. I wonder if it's this. Well, I said this during the recording. I wonder if it was the same mask from the first one, and how long would a mask take to deteriorate? Because I feel like it wouldn't take a year to progress that ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So it's probably like a second mask that he's made in that time.
Maybe he just keeps putting more on.
He just keeps... Well, he doesn't have any other way to do it. He's got so many of these masks. Why would he stop now?
So the mask attaches to him and basically becomes the antagonist of this two-parter where he's wearing a cloak and he's running around kind of like the mutant did in Attack of the Mutant.
He seriously has like a cape and everything. Yeah. And there's parts where like you see the mask and then...
it's ridiculous. I love it.
So funny.
And when Steve tries to get Carly Beth to tell him where the party store is, she doesn't. When he starts throwing around the plaster head, it's Sabrina who catches it. So then the guy with the mask shows up and like basically lures them to the party store and he's like, "Hey, that's the mask Carly Beth wore," and they chase after him.
Did you see that? Didn't it kind of remind you of the mask Carly Beth had last year?
Yeah. Hey, mister! Where'd you get that mask?
Out of context Goosebumps.
And they find the party store, and that's where he finds the old man mask. And it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good mask. He does a pretty good old man voice.
Yeah.
I need water. Please.
They put some effect on top of it so it sounds even older.
Yeah.
But it works. It sounds really like... It's like a little unsettling. You're hearing him talk, it's like, that doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound okay. This poor kid, he's going through it.
The kind of stupid thing that comes up is like the guy in the mask is like, "You need to bring me Carly Beth to the graveyard before midnight or you will be an old man forever."
So that's kind of what part 2 gets into.
Yeah.
So the first part is pretty much just the book. They cut out the first graders. They keep it nice and pure with just the Halloween. They add in the mask stuff.
I love the old man stuff they do, where like when Steve's just like on a bench, they'll have like an old man in a walker walk past.
Yeah.
Or they'll show like a sweet old man handing out candy for trick or treating. It's just
like
little details like that. Yeah.
That shit. This was really fucking good.
Yeah.
So part 1 is mostly the book, and then it ends just in like the middle of his Halloween night. I think it's when he starts to realize that he can't take the mask off, and that's kind of where it ends.
They say that after 3 attempts, that's when the mask stays on.
Yeah, so you watch him take it on and off.
Yeah.
And then when he puts it on that last time on Halloween night, it's a bit like, oh, you're fucked now, kid.
Yeah.
And then part 2 starts, and we get into our replacement ending with the mask pulling the strings. The mask, like, straight away in part 2 goes up to Steve, and he's like, "I've made you into my fucking slave. You will be an old man forever. Unless you get me Carly Beth's plaster of Paris."
It's very Dracula and Renfield.
Yes. Incredibly so.
Yeah. It also very much feels like the symbiote. I'll keep coming back to it because it is so relevant. But it's very much like
Marvel brain. Right?
Yes, the symbiote taking over Eddie Brock, but it wants to reunite with Peter Parker. It belongs to Peter Parker. So that's what it's trying to get back to.
Yeah, it is hunting down Carly Beth the whole fucking night. That is the end game, the big climax is the mask trying to get back onto Carly Beth.
What the guy wants, he wants him to break the plaster head of Paris so that she can't take the mask off.
She doesn't have a symbol of love.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly like a thing of like, that thing saved you before, so when it's gone, I can take you again. I think. It doesn't get explained. Again, this is where it kind of falls apart. It doesn't get explained.
Yeah.
But oh well, it works for the whole episode. So, I don't think there's anything else particularly crazy in part 2 until the ending.
Yeah.
You just have a lot of like Carly Beth running around trying to figure out what's happening, and you have Steve being an old man, being under the control of the Carly Beth's mask and trying to steal the plaster of Paris.
And like Chuck and Sabrina are kind of on for the ride. They're like, "Carly Beth, what's going on?" For the last time.
Yeah, they really don't get to know what's going on, but Carly Beth is just like, "No, I'm being a superhero right now, so you guys have to come."
Yeah.
And it all kind of leads you to your big showdown in the graveyard, which was where she scared Steve and Chuck in the first one.
It's where she takes the mask off.
That's where she buried the mask. Yeah.
Very important location, not so important in the book. But
no, God no.
It's so interesting how strong the continuity is in both, like, this very much carries on the first book, and that TV adaptation of 2 very much carries on the TV adaptation of 1. So interesting.
Even the TV team knew to put all the effort into these episodes.
Yeah.
So
different seasons
crazy.
as well. Like, season 1 and season 2. They probably aired it around Halloween. I haven't checked, but that's probably what they did.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I would have loved tuning in to watch that as a kid. That would have been fucking sick.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how they resolve it. The plaster of Paris does get destroyed, but then I think it ticks past midnight, so it's no longer Halloween, which means the mask no longer has any power. And the mask falls off the old man's face, and Steve's mask falls off.
No, that's not what happens.
No?
So the mask, it goes past midnight, but the power doesn't go away. It just means that Steve's stuck in that mask. So the mask leaps off the old man and goes for Carly Beth, and then Steve jumps in front of her to sacrifice himself. That's what gets the mask off, because that sacrifice was a symbol of love, because he loves Carly Beth. He's like, ew, no, I don't love girls. And then the ending is them like throwing the mask in the fireplace while they're eating candy after their trick or treat. And then Steve's dog finds the original haunted mask hasn't been fully burnt, so he buries it in the backyard.
Yeah, well, the mask it was getting burnt, and then the kids were like, "Cool, that's Halloween done. Let's go away." And then you could see the mask like rebuilding itself, and then the dog grabs it and buries it in the backyard. It was a very funny ending.
And then R.L. Stein shows up.
Yeah, and he says, "Wow, that was scary. Did you kids like that? Anyway, I'm gonna go."
That Steve is a good kid. He brought me some of his trick-or-treat goodies. Cream filling.
Don't let me look at R.L. Stein's face for so long. It's dangerous.
That's a good thumbnail.
Yeah.
Steve was a very nice boy. He gave me some of my candy, some of his candy. Cream filling, my favorite. And that's it.
Was that a Simpsons joke?
No, that was literally the quote that he said at the end of that episode.
You said it as if it was a Simpsons joke.
Sure. I feel I'm reminded more of that scene from the end of Harry Potter where he's like, alas, Eli.
You mentioned Harry Potter.
I did. Harry Potter's still in, right? No one cancelled Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's in this year?
No, they keep making those movies, so...
I think we're done and we're just stalling for time.
Yeah.
Very good TV adaptation.
I want to keep talking about this TV adaptation, but it's like, it speaks for itself.
I don't think there's much more to say. It's fucking good, watch it.
We're finding some absolute bangers with these TV adaptations lately. Wish we could say the same about the books.
I wish that the Ryan Gosling episode was good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was shit.
At least we never have to read another Say Cheese and Die book. At least we're not reading one in 2 weeks, 2 months.
Really?
It's super fucking soon.
Oh, no! I've been dreading it. Let's rank them. Yeah. We'll do the ranking.
Rank. These books are rank.
Are you sure you're alone? No, Mom. I'm hiding the Three Stooges inside my closet. Of course I'm alone. I don't need your sarcasm. I'm sorry, Mom. I just need a couple minutes.
I think it's CGI.
Right now, right? Anyway, I just came up to show you your
Oh my god, who's that?
Cable!
Let's go!
Cable!
This might be the most Goosebumps episode they've ever done.
Haunted Mask 2, do we feel like doing that one first?
Yeah.
No, Fredo. I got no idea.
It's better than Living Dummy 2.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's fine.
Is it better than Ghost Next Door?
I'm going to say no.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Done.
Easy. Goodbye, Night in Terror Tower.
That is okay.
Yeah. We're starting to take off, like, the okay books.
Yeah. When do we get to... It's just 2. Because what? Is Let's Get Invisible the start of the good ones?
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Holy shit.
We just got 2 more to go until the board is...
We purified the board.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Jelly Jam, my beloved. Alright.
And now we figure out where we put Shocker on Shock Street.
But it's like, it's so okay. No, it doesn't even go on the board.
No, it doesn't.
It does not go on the board.
Is it better than a Night in Terror Tower? I'd say no. Because Night in Terror Tower is like the time travel shit.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fun.
I want to say no as well. What's below Terror Tower?
Return of the Mummy?
It's better than Return of the Mummy.
Alright, that's an easy one.
There we go. Quickest ranking ever.
We are just speed running this video, guys. Wish we could speed run actually reading these books. I should show the bin.
They take a month and a half to read. Just 2 fucking children's books.
How do you not read them in like 10 minutes?
We got a lot of shit to do. Anyway, bin.
Man's busy.
There you go. Nine Terror Tower, really fun premise. It's kind of boring though, unfortunately. Kind of boring. Yeah.
That's it. So Horrorland is fun, but the TV adaptation is more fun. But then be careful what you wish for. Just
Fly
has
Away Bird.
the perfect ending. Shame about the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 books, and then we have a fucking pretty pure board. Where I'd be happy to go. Yeah, read these ones.
Yeah.
So how many books have we read now?
So that's 36.
36 books.
26
to
to go.
15 okay ones.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we reading next month?
Next month we're reading The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena.
That's the second one.
And I'm reading The Headless Ghost.
Yes.
Which is sure to be a banger, because we love something ghost. We love Mad Lib ghost books.
Please, just write about a werewolf or a vampire or anything.
I can't wait for the day we get to werewolf skin.
And Vampire Breath.
And Vampire Breath. I want those two. They sound like fun.
They're part of my perfect trilogy. Monster Blood, Vampire Breath, Werewolf Skin.
We'll test that theory. We'll see how perfect they really are.
And Abominable Snowman in Pasadena, really fun title. Really fun. I only know Pasadena from The Big Bang Theory, unfortunately. But I don't know. It's a different kind of monster that we've had before.
Yeah, Snowman. We never had one like that.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about the fun titles for books recently. I was thinking about Legend of the Lost Legend. That's fucking stupid.
Very alliterative.
Yeah.
And like the
So
cover's
dumb.
not threatening at all. It's just like a Viking girl sitting on a treasure chest.
Yeah. Well, Beast from the East isn't very threatening either.
Yeah, you just read that one.
Good, it's so good, I love it.
That one's good. We'll see.
We are the ultimate arbiters of this.
I
Yeah.
reread it like 2 weeks ago and I didn't hate it.
You read Goosebumps books before you read my One Piece.
One Piece is longer.
I don't want to hear it. So anyway, we'll see you guys whenever we feel like it. Hopefully within a month.
That'd be wonderful.
I don't even know what the schedule is anymore. We're just
Whenever we get it done.
One of these days you're going to get like a double upload in a month.
Yeah.
I have these.
Oh, I'm sure we've already
trying
done that.
thinking about
Or
it.
I think we've already done that.
We got another one just to get us back on track.
Yeah.
You'll be like, yay, so much goosebumps. Yay, we're so happy. Yummy, yummy.
All right, and then the credits roll.